Today is March 29th, 2024. We are interviewing Marie Harris. My name is Esther Finder. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States, and the language will be English.
Correct.
Thank you for speaking with us today. What is your name, and could you please spell it for us?
It's M-A-R-I-E, Marie Harris, H-A-R-R-I-S.
What was your name at birth?
Marie El-Koubi, Marie M-A-R-I-E, El-Koubi, E-L-K-O-U-B-Y.
Where were you born?
Casablanca,
And
French Morocco, Casablanca,
when?
1937.
And how old are you today?
Well, I'm 85. Don't look it.
What was your father's name?
My father's name is Chaim El-Koubi. H-A-I-M El-Koubi, E-L-K-O-U-B-Y.
Where was he born?
1914.
And where?
He was born not far away from Tetuan, Spain. Spain, I would put Spain.
When did he come to Casablanca, and why?
He left Spain and went to Casablanca because of problems. It's always. The problems was, I don't know if it was the Inquisition was in the 1400s. But I think something was happening. He was a young man, of course, and they just pull all the family out, all the Jews, and get him out. The king of Morocco, King V, was the best. He said, get them to Casablanca, Morocco. There was a lot of states in Morocco. And he studied he studied Aramaic, not French, because he lived very close to the mountains of Spain. It calls Tetuan, T-E-T-U-A-N, Tetuan. So his language was Aramaic. Then when he moved to Casablanca at the age 15, 16, then he went to school and learned French, because it was French, Arabic. Those there were the main languages in Morocco. Then my mother, okay.
Well, I just want to ask you,
Okay.
what work did your father do?
My father at the time, he didn't have he was born, his father died when he was in the belly of the mama. So there was no father to be the leader of the family. It was his mother only. And what he did, he was extremely uneducated, but very bright. And when he came to Casablanca, he invented to make your shoe shine, the cream. He invented it in Casablanca as young. Then after that, he had another brother who was not normal. He was born with all the problem. He became a little bit depression problems. Then my father, he said, I am not going to do this patent. I told him they had me and I was young at 13. I said, Dad, why didn't you make a patent? You could have been better. He said, I wanted to be better than shooting. So he studied to do like the armchairs for the captains and the jury and all that. He invented the a little, like they call it, like sofas with a little nails. He's the inventor on that. He invented the nails around the sofa and those famous chairs for the judges, for the majors, and the generals. So my dad was he had a meeting, he was very young, bright. He said, why don't we make sofa not regular like any? Let's make it is presentable for these famous people. So my dad was the inventor on that one. Then after that, he met my mother. Okay, that's what stopped right there. And he said, I want to do more. Extremely, not educated, but very bright. When I do more, he did the sofas and all that. Then he opened his own establishment in French, they say, which is his own office. And he put some people to teach them how to do that kind of material. They call it in French, établissement El Koubi. Établissement El Koubi is the place of Mr. El Koubi. Like opening a big store, excuse me, opening a big store. So from that, he was doing tapisserie. After that, he opened a society. I have a page of that one, I should show it. A society, the name Soframa, Société Franco-Moroccan. Soframa, S-O-F-R-A-M-A. Société Franco-Moroccan. It means it's his society, and he was the CEO of the company. So he really became pretty high level. That was the timing. Now, as you know, Jewish people like to produce. That's what Moses said. Just that you got to produce, because we were a minority in the world. We are 0.1 even today. But we had this. We had that led us to everything. And of course, mother was a very smart woman, and we were 12 siblings.
Well, let me ask you your mother's name.
My mother's name is Mesoda, M-E-S-S-O-D-A. And it's an explanation on Hebrew. Mesoda is doing something good deed for someone else. That's the name from God. Now, I speak for myself. I am all this I was young remembering, but my parents never told us what happened because they were scared. There was during the Holocaust. I'm jumping to the.
Yeah,
No.
You're going too far ahead of me. Okay.
Okay.
You gave me your mother's first name.
Yeah.
What was her maiden name?
Amazing, like my father's maiden name, and they never met. E-L-K-O-U-B-Y. Never met. 3 generations, the same name, never met. Very interesting.
Where was she born?
In Tanger, Spain.
And what work did she do? You said there were 12?
What you're talking about?
Her work, what was?
Profession?
Oh, whatever work
Whatever.
she did.
Well, mother was an extremely talented woman. She used to design for the Arabs in Morocco. They never wore shoes. They used to wear those slippers with gold leaf designing. She was the one who was doing that and had employees with her to make a little money, to survive. This is before the Holocaust, okay? And she was having children. I guess I told her, Mom, you didn't have TV, so you had one kid after another. That was my message. No. And she kept housekeeping. She did very well. Thank God the family was well disciplined. And then all of a sudden we start hearing things coming up. This is a continuation of them being in Morocco. Then she had my oldest sister who died from typhoid. I don't know her. Her name is Alice. Then she had my oldest sister who lives in Israel now, the second one.
Her name?
Giselle. And then my brother, bless his soul, named Eli, passed away in Israel. And then me, Marie. Okay. We were all at schools. Okay.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about the phone.
It's
that
okay.
was unplugged, and yet it surprised us.
Okay.
You were telling us about your brothers and sisters, and you had gotten to you, and you want to introduce your brothers, the rest of your brothers and sisters now, or do you want to do that later?
Most of them were, when they left, half of them left to Israel immediately. This is in the 50s.
Okay, so
Now
we'll
we're
get to
still
them later.
talking in the 40s,
Okay.
in the 30s.
Okay, and I had asked you about the work that your mother did. You said there were
she
12
did that.
children?
She used to do like designing shoes because the Arabs, they used to wear like slippers with gold design. So she was a designer. That was one of her things at home. And of course, she was a mother, a homemaker, most of all. Those days, the Jewish women was home to do the good things for the husband, the children, and everything. So after, she had like I stated before, my oldest sister, I don't know her, she died, typhoid. Then the other sister is in Israel. She's not doing well either. And my brother passed away. Then here comes Marie. Well, Marie, me, I was very alert to the world at a very, very young age. And I never forget, I said my father and I were like friends. We'll sit, and I was a very observant young girl. I walked, well, we're getting close to the Holocaust now, but not yet. But this is the ending of Morocco. We were living in French Morocco very well with the Arabs. The king was pro-Jews. All his officers in his kingdom, writers, chefs, cooks. Senegal, he had his own army from the Senegal. He said, nobody touch Jews while they live in my country. When the Germans came, they went to him. And they said, we want the Jews' name, and how many you have, and where they live. Because Jews, most of the time, at the time, they lived close to each other. And so the king, as a matter of fact, they put a street on him in Tel Aviv and Haifa. They put his honor statue. He saved the Holocaust Jews in Morocco. And he was there. He got the Senegal. Then the French, I hate to say, even being French and Moroccan, they were the worst for the Jews in Morocco. They went right away and told the Nazis, we know where they live, we know where they are, we know what they do. They're very productive and they're wealthy. That's all you hear. Even today you hear it. And it was on the radio. There's no TV those days. And I'm always sitting next to the radio as a little girl. So I took my dad when he came from work. I said, Dad, you made little money. You have a safe at home. Take that money, go to Switzerland and get a box like everybody did. Oh, nothing's going to happen. We're fine. Typical human being. Nothing's going to happen. Well, anyway, I used to read a lot as a little girl, even if I didn't go forward in French, but I managed to read and confront my own father, whether politically or massacring danger. Somehow, I have tears sometimes because I remember that. And he said, Dora, don't worry, we're fine in Morocco, we're okay. So where else to go? That's all you have. Then, I never forget this one. This, I don't want to cry because I was 4 years old and I got out of the house to the steps and I saw those good yards like airplanes in the air. Then the newspaper, my mother said, bring the paper, it's outside. Now, she didn't read French because she was born in Tanger, so she did a little bit in Spanish. And being a mother, doing everything, I brought the newspaper home, a 4-year-old little girl. And it was written, the first page, tomorrow would be the end of the Jews. The ovens are ready in Fedala, which is an hour away from Casablanca. Okay? And it was written in red, like blood. Get ready. My neighbor spoke French because she was much older, and she read it. She's Jewish too, and a neighbor. Then my aunt, whom I stated, she was a brave woman. She knew the whole thing. She was a legionnaire underground, helping the Americans. She welcomed them. The Senegals were all over. She welcomed them to Casablanca. She had a farm, big farm. And she got the Americans, the PA, the majors. She said, the farm is for you. We want to help you. You're helping us. Meantime, all the Jews were hiding, closing their doors, and Mother was holding us crying. When she read that tomorrow is the end, and she has 5, 6 kids alive, us, and I never forget, I sat by her and I hold her hand. Mother, why are you crying? She said, no, I'm okay. No, you have to tell me, because I was very powerful. Oh, I want to know everything at age 4. She said, we're okay. So my aunt, bless her soul, came with the MP, American base. They didn't have a base, but they had my aunt's farm give it to them. Brought a maid and everything to do for the Americans. That came soldiers to help, not to kill the Jews. And she came on a jeep with 2 other MP and had rifles on her hands. Went to my mother, she was the firstborn. She said, Miss Odi, do you have some money home? She said, well, yes, nobody's working. And she read the paper. My aunt read it before even got advertised. She said, go, I'll take care of the kids, go buy canned goods, anything. Bring them and lock yourselves up. All of you, don't answer the doors. She did. So she went to each of her siblings did the same thing with the MP. Then she went back to Fedala, which is an hour away from Casablanca. And she was tearing up. And I always ask questions, why are you crying? There's a reason. That's why I'm a good counselor. My trade is counseling. And I want to know, I want to hear, I want to come for you. She said, I don't think we'll have time to come for each other. The Nazis are in Casablanca. Nazis are in Marrakesh. The Nazis are in every state of Morocco. The first thing they did is they went to the big businesses, Jewish businesses. One of them was my father. Took everything, closed the place. It's not your place anymore. Then they went to the bank. The bank calls Lyonnaise du Maroc. Lyonnaise, it's like you call Wells Fargo. This is Lyonnaise for the richer people, Jewish. They put their money there. So the terrorism started with the Nazis also. They know where the Jews are. They went with gunpoint to the banks and withdraw all the account the Jews had. Stayed zero. How are you going to live with a zero when you have 7 children and a parent? Okay. Mother, thank God she was a good cook. She made bread and whatever it was in the house, not peanut butter, they didn't exist then. Marmalade, she used to make the marmalade. She was a very good creator in the kitchen. But we're still little, we don't know what happened. So the Jewish Federation in Casablanca announced in the synagogue to all the Jews, stay home. Do not leave your everything locked tight. Okay? Don't get out. Whatever you have, you eat. You don't eat, you don't eat. It's better not to be in the ovens because they're preparing the ovens in Fedala. They're still there till today. So what you hear is the scream and the famine and crying. Then I am as active at that age. I opened the door and I went and I saw in the sky the Goodyear, like the balloons. They were with the Nazi military and all the bad thing, they're gonna take you and burn you. Happened same thing in Casablanca like in Germany. Nothing different, except they never spoke about it. Okay, because the king was strong and tried to make it. But my father got beaten by the Germans. He had 2 big holes in his legs because he was blonde, blue eyes. And they asked him, are you Jewish? My father's not gonna lie, yes I am. They beat the shit out of him.
When was this?
This is during the Nazis when they came to Casablanca.
Can you give me a year?
A year, well, if I was 4 years old, it's very hard to remember the year. I think it was before, well, they already killed the 6 million Jews, they're gone, because they're in Europe. Then they said, Morocco in one day will finish it. We'll finish the Jews in North Africa. There's no problems. Okay? Meantime, the Jewish, like a Jewish federation we had in synagogues, most of them, they were conservative and orthodox. There was no reform. And the rabbis made a lot of speeches in a very quiet way to prepare the mothers and fathers and their little children. Some of them didn't have nothing to eat. And they knock on the doors and we were not open. They throw. At my household, where we used to live, it was a building with 3 stories. We were on the first floor. They throw one bomb. Half of it was stuck in the floor. And still until today. I went back 1995. And I said, I want to see where I live. Right there, the big piece of bomb in that hole. The other piece went to the other side, also where Jews were. And we couldn't say a word. We couldn't say nothing. There was nobody there. Finally, the Americans came. The only thing made them come because of what happened in the labor, when the Japanese started, Pearl Harbor. It was way back. But that's what brought the Americans to Morocco. Well, the Holocaust started, the killing started in let's see, the Kristallnacht was 1932, 33, maybe, I don't really, I was a little girl, but I still remember. Yeah, the Kristallnacht, after Kristallnacht, started the Holocaust for the Jews to eliminate by Mr. Adolf Hitler.
I'd like to go back and ask you a question about something you said a moment ago. Your father got beaten.
Yes.
Where was he? How did that happen?
He was walking in the street to come home. He was walking. The Germans just arrived. Okay? He was walking. They stopped everybody. What religion are you? If you're a Jew, you're on this side. My father was blonde, blue eyes. He looked like a really Christian. So they asked him in French, are you a Jew? Yes, I am. So 2, 3 Germans, and my father was not a little man, 2, 3 Germans dropped him on the floor and beat the hell out of him. How did I find out those marks? We usually respect our parents. You never see them naked. We wanted much older in life, and my father took my son. This is much later, who is just, and he put him on his neck, and he was swimming, but he was wearing shorts to swim. When he came out, I saw holes like this in his knee here and here. So I stopped my dad. Like I said, I'm very, very observant. What happened? Did you have an accident? He said, let's not talk about it. They will not tell us. They should have. Because we were young. And the only thing they were crying so much is they lived their life, okay? But who's going to live with the 7 kids? They're going to be in the oven. We were ready. That was then. That it was absolutely, they took away everything that we had. Of all, there were a lot of famous Jews in Morocco. And, well, really, the first university in the world, it was in Fez, Morocco. The first university was very well designed by the French and everything. Then the whole mishmash started. Who they pick on? Jews. Okay? So how would you like Jews to come to your mother and say, Mom, can I eat something? I'm hungry. I remember that for me. She said, honey, and we used to eat well and everything, you know, many, many years before. And she said, I only have piece of bread. I said, I don't like just piece of bread. Well, I was young, so I didn't know the difference. She said, just eat a piece of bread. So I did, eat a piece of bread. And we just sat there, and I was the most vulnerable to know and to do something. But can you do something at 4 years old? No, you can't. You just can't. You're just in your arms of your mother next to her crying day and night.
I have a couple of questions. You kind of went quickly over some of the stuff I
I
wanted
do,
to
because
cover.
it's very sad.
It's okay. How did the local Muslims feel about the Nazis?
Excuse me?
How did the local Arabs, the Muslims, feel about the Nazis?
Well, because of the king, the Arabs at that time, at that era, were better. They wouldn't touch the Jews, no. But yet, they wouldn't get involved to help. No one left a finger. They still don't.
Did the Nazis bother the Arabs at all?
No. Only the Jewish people. The brain, that's what they bother the brain, because we were a brain.
So, let me see if I understand this. There was an announcement that the Jews were going to be taken.
48 hours from, that's right.
And
In the
then-
newspaper. And the newspaper named Le Petit Marocain.
And tell me your experience during those 48 hours. What do you remember from that time period?
I remember my mother crying, because that's the newspaper that said that. And I remember my youngest siblings and my older sister just sitting in a corner and wondering what the hell is going on. I was the only one that I was aware was going on, much younger than my other siblings. Why? Because I am observed. I want to see what's going on. All of a sudden, the whole upside down. I knew about the Germans. They were killing Jews in Germany. I know all that at that age.
How did you learn that?
How did I do that? My mother was talking.
So during the war, she knew about what was happening to the Jews.
Of course. Because they did Europe before Morocco. Morocco was the ending. Because Morocco was not too many Jews living there.
So was there an attempt to get the Jews?
Excuse me?
Was there an attempt to get the Jews in that 48-hour period?
Oh, they got quite few.
What happened?
They got them in Fedala, where they massacred them, and took some of them to Marseille. There is a Holocaust place in Marseille. I saw it, where they killed the Jews, and their bones are still there, in the mountain of Marseille, France. In 1956, I saw it.
So some Jews were taken from Morocco and shipped to Marseille.
Oh, sure. Taken and leaving everything behind you.
So what saved the Jews? Why weren't more of them killed?
Excuse-
Who or what saved the Jews?
Where were
Who
saved?
or what saved the Jews from this
Well,
massacre?
the king saved some of the Jews, yes, King Hassan. We bless him. He really saved the Jews. He's the only one, not the French. The French told them where the Jews were. That's what I'm angry. Even I studied in French. It's my first language.
So how did the king save them?
Saved them to the German. He told them, this is my country. The first comers that come to this country, he said, and I have books, I read a lot, they were not Arabs. They were Jews from the Atlas Mountain. The one who found Morocco, nobody else. He told that to the Arabs. So do not get involved and kill the Jews too. He gave a big speech. That's very interesting word right there. Very powerful.
At that time, when the Germans said they were going to round up the Jews, were the Jews aware of what the king was doing?
Yes. He told them. He told them, we're behind you, but don't go anywhere, stay at your homes.
Before things started to heat up with the Nazis in Morocco, had any Jews from Europe come through Casablanca to try to escape the Nazis? Were there any refugees? You never met any. Okay. So the Germans came at the same time as the Americans, or did the Germans come first, or did the Americans come first? How did that work?
Almost the same timing. 1 day different. This is what my late aunt told me, because they came. She gave them the farm, she helped them and everything. And she said, I'm here with you. You know, she was single, 17 years old, gorgeous woman. And she said, you're going to have the farm, and I'm going to get those military, beds, and you'll have the maids. You'll have everything, the Arab maids. They will cook for you and everything. And then when they started, then the German, with their thing, they're so damn powerful, when they started with where the Jews were the top Jews in Casablanca or on the Atlas, or my girlfriend used to live in Marrakesh and all that thing, they said, we have to pick up the top, like the top of the cream. We're going to wipe those up first, because we got to take everything they have. Whether their homes, their businesses, or their money.
Was there any fighting between the Americans and the Germans in Casablanca?
That I can't recall. No.
Did the Jewish community in Casablanca have any contact with American troops? Specifically, did they meet any Jewish troops?
Yes, all the rabbis, Casablanca, they were very fine rabbis, very well educated, and they got to talk to the Americans. We had the good, like you call it here, Jewish Federation, IDF, and all those things. We had them too. The only thing they told us is to hide, okay? And then, of course, most of them were married and have children. Where are we going to get the food to feed the kids? They'll die of starvation. So the rabbis used to accumulate from here and there and bring it to the people. But some of them got killed because they're trying to help the Jews a little bit, at least to survive until that time comes.
What else stands out in your mind about the war years during World War II?
World War II, as I stated again, I observed, I remembered, I cried, nobody slept. I was watching over my younger siblings, you know, they were hiding, they were just hiding and sleeping on the floor, hiding. And I will be the one to counsel them. Can you imagine? Comfort them. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Don't worry. We have America. Nothing's going to happen. Well, we have America, but not literally the way it should have been done. Again, I'm not a political, and I don't want to be one. But when you see human beings that done nothing but good in Morocco were the Jews, they invented, they did everything like in Israel. Similarity, they brought that to Israel too. And they helped the Arabs, they helped the French, okay? But when it comes to the Jews, nobody lifts a finger. I wish I was much older. I would go to every street where Jews live and give a hell of a speech. But it was, what do you do at 4 years old? Can you say something more major? You can't.
What should people understand about the experience of World War II in Morocco that maybe they don't realize?
It has nothing to do with not realizing. They realize, older than me, of course, parents, that let's not tell the kids.
Let me rephrase my question because I don't think I don't think you're understanding me.
No, okay.
What should people today understand about World War II in Morocco? Because most people don't know anything about what happened to the Jews in North Africa.
That was the fault of the parents. They will not say anything. They will say happened, there's a war, but I give you my own experience. I was only 32 years old and I came to visit them in Israel. And I took my mother, because I gave a lot of other speeches beside this one. Wherever I go, I give speech. I said, Mother, sit with me, have a cup of coffee. I want to ask you a question. I have a son. I want him to know what his mother and his aunts and uncles and grandparents went through. You've got to teach them to be aware of what's going on in the world. Well, those days, the parents were so damn scared that they were holding those poor children and not say a word, and the children don't know nothing. Well, do you know anything at age 1? No, you don't. Do you know anything at age 2? Not at all. So it took many years for me, Marie Harris, to take my mother aside. And I said, I want to know, because I want my son to know what happened to the Jews in all over the world. No, don't scare him, don't scare, you know, they always, the Jewish mother is very close to her children. No, I don't want them to get scared. They will get scared if they don't know, and they'll know it later. So we sat for 2 hours. And she said, daughter, don't tell your son. It's very painful. I said, my son is very well educated. And we sit and talk. You have to tell the new generation, even today. And I have to say, maybe it's not pleasant. I'm a good American citizen. I was very happy to come here to study. But the culture is so different than anywhere else in the world. I did not like to stay here. I'm being honest. It's a beautiful country. It helped a lot. It helped the world, okay? But the thing I didn't care when I first came, and I went to school, studied. Oh, where are you coming from? I said, I'm French, Morocco, born. And I went to Israel for a year, be with my parents, and here I am, okay? Oh, you're Jewish, right away, boom. I said, oh boy, I came from the enemies to another enemy, USA? Incredible. Yet, when I passed the exam to become a citizen, I was the best one of all the Americans that they were supposed to pass. I said, thank you, Truman. you may think happened.
Let's go back to,
Let's go back to,
yeah, you ran way ahead of me again.
yeah.
When did the Germans leave
Leave Morocco.
Casablanca?
I think they left, well, 45 was the worst. I believe around 46 or 47. I can't tell you dates exactly.
Okay. And how did life change for your family after the Germans were gone?
It's to start all over, okay? But they got kicked all the time. Even at school, I have very good experience myself. You know, I was 10 years old, so I'm grown up already. You know, I had friends, they're not Jewish. Doesn't matter to me. People are people. We are people, children of God. And this my best friend, same age as I am. She went to church Sunday, okay? And I'm waiting for her to come, and we go to the park and play, right? She walks in my house. She always was in my house and everything, and she gives me a slap on my face. Pow! I said, "What's for?" "You killed my father." I said, "I killed your father? Your father just came down steps of the building." "Not that father." I said, "Aha, here we go again." "You killed Jesus." I said, "First of all, his name is not Jesus. You're going to start with me, you'll never finish." I mean, she slapped me badly. So I said, "First of all, if your parents teach you who is Jesus, you will think differently than what you did right now. But you're going to pay for it from me." I made a documentary about Jesus in Kfar Nahum, Tiberias, in Israel. I made it. They asked me to make it. I did. And who bought that documentary? Germany bought it. I was sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning. My mother wakes me up. She says, some big black Mercedes, and they were speaking English, all right? And I said, "Mother, what do you mean?" She said, "They're asking for Marie El-Kubi." I was not married, you know. They're asking for Marie El-Kubi. She said, "She's asleep at 5 o'clock in the morning." My mother got scared, you know. It flashed back things that can happen in Morocco. What happened when MGM went to Morocco, want to make a documentary? Okay, I'm going ahead of yourself again, but this is my vocabulary of following of what I know and what I remember. This is me. So I will not skip one word. It's my knowledge of life, okay? And but that was very interesting to know that the word never again should be all over the world. Well, I said, "You slapped me." First of all, Jesus was a Jew, remember. He was crucified. Guess who did it? Bob, the priest. He was circumcised. He had a bar mitzvah. His mother was the whole family was Jewish. It's the Roman that you should crucify, not the Jews. Oh boy, I opened my mouth, and she was and she wants to give me another slap. So I took my hand like that, pow, in her face. She was bleeding. Yes, you have to defend yourself, he who hates you. Otherwise, you'll be another Holocaust. So the mother come in, "Oh, Marie, qu'est-ce que tu as fait? What did you do?" I said, "Pardon, Madame, come to the house," and we're friends. Come to the house. Yeah, mais regarde. Don't tell me regarde. Regarde means look what I did. Ask me a question first, why? Did you see my face? I said, her fingers are on my face. How about that? Mais non, Marie, she said. On fait pas ça. J'ai dit, really? You don't do that? For her to slap me and not to respond? No way, never. She told me I killed her father. Do you think who was her father? He was my uncle. He was Jesus Christ. He was a Jew. And stop all this crap, I said, that you really make things worse between people, between Jews, non-Jews, etc. There's no such thing. There's one God who created us. He was Yeshua. He was very much propaganda. Yes, he was. And then the Babylonians came and the Romans. I said, why don't you Christians learn the story before you beat up a Jew? But you know, that was the ending of that. The mother apologized. And I said, Mother, you are the mistaken person. The mother, the parents should tell their children the truth. And I stopped right there.
Let's go back to the end of the war, please. Were you aware of any retaliation against anybody who collaborated with the Germans?
The French.
Was there any retaliation?
The Vichy, yeah, of course. They were hands in hand together in hiding.
So what retaliation did you see? Was
retaliation, if you're Jewish, they don't hire you to a job.
After the war was over, how much did you know about the UN vote to create a Jewish state, to create Israel?
Well, that's a very, very excellent question that I'm aware, and as a matter of fact, I made a speech about that one. After the Holocaust, we're talking about now, am I correct? Thank God to Israel. In 1955, it started all over in Casablanca, in Morocco.
What started all over?
The Arab terrorism, what's going on today. This young girl was 15 years old. It was a curfew. If you're late 2 minutes, you get shot. They were hiding on top of all the buildings in Casablanca, a higher building. I was 5 minutes late, okay? And my house is right next to the TV. And that's all you hear, it tap, tap. Anybody that walks got shot, right? But I see a black car, Mercedes, black. He opens the door and he said, Mademoiselle, rentrez. Mademoiselle means miss, get in, with a gunpoint. I was only 15, with a gunpoint. I stood like a symbol. I couldn't move. I couldn't say nothing. And by God, thank you God, sent 2 policemen, grabbed me, one from this hand and one from the other hand, and ran to the street, and the shooting was going on. Ran to my house, and we locked everything. There was like another Holocaust, you know, it's one after another. And my father got angry at me. He said, Doro, you were 5 minutes late. I said, Dad, I was just talking to this lady, and she asked me an address or something. So 5 minutes, they have to kill me? Well, that's where, you know where it started terrorism? Like Hamas today and all that? It started in Morocco. Because they took the king, Hassan V, French took him to an exile. He died 2 years later from pain, from tristesse.
How long did your family stay in Morocco? Was that, you said 55, is that when they left?
In 1955, 56, yes. Yes. There was a worse time. It was a horrible time.
Did your whole family leave?
Yeah, the whole, my father happened that he had a big name in Casablanca, like the FDI, those big, and he's the one who sent the Jews of the Mela. The Mela is a part of Morocco that only Jews live together. Yes. Yeah. He sent them one by one with the kind of propaganda between the higher Jews, that they were higher, big businesses. They made it up. And my father was the leader. And he used to let them get out. One man was 6'2". He got out from little bitty finger like fenêtre, window, little bitty window, because he was helping not to kill the French people bringing kids from their school. It's okay, right? And he went there to help not to kill them. They turned the car upside down and they burned the kids, the family in the car, right in front of my house. And I said, oh, I'm 15, I know what I said. I got home quick. I said, Dad, let's get the hell out of here. We're not staying here. He said, Dora, he said, they're gonna come. They're gonna come after us. All right, I was 4, they came after us, but we were kind of lucky, but starved to death, okay? Then this episode in 55, 56 was also the same thing. And that's what happened. We left to Israel. Thank God, Israel, I don't know how they made the money. It was 1956. Israel was born 1948. And they were the Haganah, thanks to the Haganah, that made Israel, not the British mandate. They were horrible.
What could you take with you when you left?
Take from Morocco. I went with the jeans, shirt, one underwear, and a bra, and shoes, that's all. You had to live with that outfit for a month and a half until Israel rented a ship called the Lieutenant, SS Lieutenant, and got us to Israel. And we were sleeping with the animals that they take to other countries in the ship.
Did you go directly from Morocco to Israel?
We went to Marseille.
And you went by ship?
Marseille, yeah.
Okay.
And then from there we stayed. We had to stay a month and a half. And we stayed, guess what, where we stayed? We stayed, the Holocaust places stayed. Like in Poland, built, it looked funny. Looked like a tunnel with one light, that's it. And it was one of the Germans building to put the Jews and incriminate them in Marseille. I saw the bones with my own eyes in Marseille.
Where did you settle when you first came to Israel?
To Israel, we settled. Israel gave us, like I said, we didn't have nothing. And that's, to me, it's one of the bravest country on earth, beside USA, okay? So they give us a little condo for 12 people, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom and stuff. And they brought sacks of rice, sacks of chickpeas, and they give you to make a garden, make your own food outside of your little condo. So we are, all the men, the grown-up men, everything, they were making trenches as it's like a shelter. There were no shelters because the Sinai War just started. And we're going to hide. And they came in Hebrew, we didn't speak Hebrew. And they came with the microphone. Please close your window, put a black sheet on it. No lights, no talk, close. The war of Sinai is starting. We didn't know what the hell was going on. So my mom was brave. We put black stuff the window, and we sit in the kitchen. There was the safest place.
Where in Israel was this?
That was in 1956 in Tiberias, by the Golan Heights. And the house we were, after my parents left, thank God, went to Tel Aviv to find a job, my father and all that, they blew up that house. They were all dead. The house was flattened by one missile from the Golan Heights, Syria.
How did you learn Hebrew?
I go every year. I was there 1 year, first year. Then my aunt sent for me to come and study here in the United States. She said, "You're very smart. I want you to learn a trade or something." And I followed. She didn't have children, so I was practically like adopted, you know. And then I worked. I modeled. I did modeling jewelry in St. Louis, Missouri. I went to school at night. I made myself what I am today, alone. I had the courage. I want to know everything. I want to know how to type so I can get a job. I took Time magazine, old Time magazine in Casablanca, and the typewriter that my father had. I stayed 24 hours and changed the keys. The keys, because the same thing, but the French keys and the English keys are different. Like F, and it's an A in French, all right? I learned how to type. I still have the diploma hanging in my office.
I need to stay back in Israel for a little longer.
Yeah, but I stayed in Israel a little longer.
No, I have some questions about Israel.
Yeah.
You ran ahead of me again.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask what adjustments were difficult for your family?
For my
Because
family,
you left.
When they left Morocco.
No, you said you left. You said that you left Israel after a year.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, in that year that you were there, what can you tell me about making adjustments to living there? What was hard for your family in their new home?
Yeah, it was very, very hard. There was no jobs, but I'm very fortunate that my physiognomy of life was different than all my siblings. I said, okay, I did finish high school because we left Morocco. Where are you going to study there? I said, no, I'm going to teach myself. So I wanted to be a nurse. And it was in Tiberias. I said, I speak English. And he said, yeah, it's an English hospital. I said, okay, start tomorrow. Come on over, we need you. We'll teach you how to be head nurse to start and then go up. Anything to bring couple lira to feed me, 50, the one of the siblings, okay? Father could not find a job. He was a big shot in Morocco, then zero to the floor, okay? I said, Dad, I used to talk with my father all the time. I said, Dad, don't worry. As long as I'm alive, you're all gonna be fine. And he looked at me. I gotta show you his pictures in my purse later. Him and I talking. And we talk. And he said, I should have listened to you when you were 13 years old. My dad, who was very bright, because I told him, Dad, the little money you have in the house, take it to Switzerland.
You told us this.
I told that one. We're not going to repeat it.
I also wanted to ask you, how were you received by the Israelis when you got there in '56?
Oh, it was not that easy because we didn't speak their language, right? That's number one. Number two, there was no jobs. Israel was young, nothing. But I was lucky to one thing. One thing I was lucky. Sometimes beauty helps. Okay? Beauty helps. And that's when I did a documentary of Jesus Christ walking on water. Come to me, and I didn't have nothing to wear, just whatever I could. I said, my mom didn't allow me. She said, they might kidnap you. Well, you know, when fear is fear. I said, Mother, nobody's going to kidnap me. So they said, you speak English? I said, yes. Yes, sir, I do. He said, we chose you from your post office in Tiberias. We went there and stated we're like a young lady, like during the time of BC, and pretty, speaks, and we want her to make this documentary. It's very important. Well, they come knocking my door. My mother opened the door, scared to death again. And she came to me. I was in PGs. I right away put a robe. I came out. That's how I looked. Do you see this picture here? At that time. Okay, that's me. And I said, but I don't have any clothes to change for the documentary. And it's like a movie. He says, we'll buy you everything. We'll get you clothing, because at those days, during Christ, colors were important. But the TV, the camera did not have colors, black and white. So they put, this has reminded me, big thing like that, like a Renner's wrap in silver, and one here in gold to make the picture colorful. And then we studied what to talk about. There was a priest with us. The place was named Kfar Nahum. It was a synagogue that Jesus was there going for fishing, and the boat is still there till today, old, 3,000 years. I have to be the first one as a movie star, as you stated, the first one to come down from that synagogue that Jesus was in, and there were 4 steps, very old. And they have to go, oh my God, just like that. We had to learn all that for 2 days, how your body behaves, like you tell me, how you feel. And I said, oh my God. Then I see the lake where he walked and when he went fishing. So I had to talk like that into the camera, like I'm doing today. And I was fascinated. And it came from MGM, United States Hollywood. They went there and they did the documentary. And they asked me questions about Yeshua, call him Yeshua. I said, well, I love to read. This problem, asking me this question, is very, very, very valuable to the world to know, to any generation to know. I said, I know who he was by reading, He lived in Nazareth most of the time. I went to Nazareth, and I saw where he was a rabbi and teaching Hebrew to the youngsters. I was there. And then when we did the documentary, they said, have you read a lot about him? I said, yes, I'm a reader. I'm a learner by myself. Yes, he was. And the problem here, what started it, is, well, the first temple, the Babylonians, second temple, the whole thing. And I said, and he was with the Romans when they were looking for him everywhere. And there was a Last Supper, which is Pesach. So Judas, I'm not telling the whole story, but I'm telling you what I went through it, the documentary, which is really important to new generation to see this young girl, what she did in her life as young, and be aware and never be afraid. Learn, teach. And I think, to me, I'm coming back to the reality here, most of it is the fault of the parents. Okay, we get back later to that one. Excuse me.
I wanted to ask you, where and when did you learn English?
When? I just told you a while ago. We had old typewriter, and I bought Old Time magazine in Casablanca. Okay? And I, 24 hours 7, typed. I changed my age to be older. The base, American base was in Casablanca. Okay? That's a good one. So I changed my age because I was only 15, and they don't accept 15, you don't work. You have to be 17 or 18. Now, what are we going to do if I can't find nobody's eating at home? There's nothing. Okay, what I did, I said, Marie, get your physiognomy and get smart. You're the only one out of 8 siblings. And I was the 4th one. Excuse me. And so I learned by myself. I want to pass an exam. This gonna really get you. May I have my little Coke, please?
You have your water right there. The water's next to you.
Thank you. And now, in the morning, there's nothing to eat. My mother was pregnant. She was a young woman. She got married at 14. And I'm looking, and I said, we're like 7 people here, plus parents. My older sister got out quick, left to Israel, and her husband, and her 6-month-old baby. My brother said, who stayed me? I had other young siblings. So, the thing here, and I should have written a book, many people told me, because I give this speech quite a few times. What I said, Marie, whether you're going to sit and cry and leave people angry, even the neighbors. So I thought how to be a typist, a good one, until I got absolutely 90 points. I got up one morning, I said, Dad, I'm going to find a job. Nobody's working. So mother pregnant, she has to eat. He said, honey, you're too young, you can't do that, da 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 da. Dad, please, I am in control of this family right now. let me do a duty as a daughter to be able to help. Well, I took the bus, the MP bus, to the base. You have to have a badge. I didn't have a badge yet. I said, I know where I got to the bus, and I pretended I was asleep. To survive, you have to pretend a lot of things. Pretend I was asleep, and the MP got on the bus and checked the badge that you work in the base. I pretended I was asleep, and a gentleman next to me, the MP said, oh, she's asleep, we have to see her badge that she works to the base. Well, before that, I passed the exam, as I stated before. I had better number than all of the girls and men that they wanted secretaries, they wanted people to work in the base. Well, the director that checks the math of what I did, the typing and everything, and I'm not going to brag, I was the best one in the whole group. But you have to put your religion. What are you? Jewish. As a matter of fact, today it's not allowed to do that. Your identity is yourself. And then he said to me, oh, you're Jewish? Yes. I knew this guy. He's one of the Nazis' hatred. I said, yes, sir. I am Jewish. Je suis française, because it was in French first. Française, juif, means Jewish, French. He saw that. He said, you can't go in. You're too young. I said, okay. I'm not allowed to get in, okay. But at the same time, he didn't know that he had a young lady here, very observant. The place where I was supposed to go to work was 800TH Supply Group, American, in the base. Kept it in my mind. I went to a rabbi, okay? Went back to Casablanca in the bus. I went to a rabbi. I said, Rabbi, I want you to change my age. Give me 2 years more or 1 year more. Oh, I can do that. I'll be in jail. I said, this story should be told many, many times because I went through it. I said, Rabbi, I spoke to him in French. I said, how would you like to feed 7 people and a woman pregnant 6 months? My mother. Yeah, but I cannot change your age. I said, you are going to, sir, Rabbi. You are forced to do it. You're going to go to the highest level man named Lusky, L-U-C-K-Y, Jewish. I wrote my name. I have 1 year more than what I am now. Because of that story, I didn't erase it. I didn't give a damn of how old I was or I'd be. And what I did, the rabbi came in. He brought me my birth certificate. And he said, Lusky changed it to 1 year older. Thank you, God, I said. So he said, you see there's a little cross here, X and X, that's what I changed it. Do what you think. You're a brave young lady. Yeah, the next day, I went back. My father took me to the bus, 5 o'clock in the morning. He said, daughter, what am I going to do with you? I said, hey, oh, you're going to all starve here. I have to bury everybody. If one of us can speak, let me do it. I got to the base. Took the bus. Pretend the same thing. I didn't have a badge. Pretend that I'm sleeping. So I was the last one to come out of the bus, and I knew where I was going. You know why? Because I remembered. 800TH supply group. I told the American bus driver, I said, sir, can you direct me to the office of the supply group HO? Oh, he said, ma'am, you come out of the bus, just cross the street, it's right there. They're waiting for her secretary. Well, I got in. Truly, I was shaking from my head to my toes, but I said, I've got a brain, you better work. Let me. I know maybe I'm talking too much, but this is the truth of the truth. And it's very important for the new generation to know what the young girls went through. But I got in. And Mr. Barnhill, Lieutenant Barnhill was in the office. And I came, and they said, we were waiting for you. Where are your papers from the Office of Employment? I said, I have them, sir. So how come they didn't let you come yesterday? Then the phone rang. His phone rang. And I observed the number. I picked up like I'm working already. I said, Marie speaking. This is a 8HO supply group. How can I help you, sir? Just like you hear it. He said, I would like to talk to Lieutenant Barnhill. That was my boss. And he was on the other phone. When he finished, he said, would you sit down, miss? Give me your papers. He said, first of all, you did something very well, whether I read your papers or not. I said, there's God there. I said, no, sir, I want you to read the papers and to read my resume. If it's acceptable, I'll be grateful to you. If not acceptable, I am also grateful because I've done something. He said, well, you responded very well on the phone, and let me have the papers. He says, you're accepted. Why didn't send you yesterday? I said, sir, I am a child of the Holocaust parents. If I'm not strong today, I will never be. I said, one of the reasons he didn't want me to get a job, sir, because we write, what religion are you? And he was anti, and I said, I am Jewish, French. Immediately throw me out. He said, what? He called him. He said, why did you throw Miss Marie El-Koubi? She cannot work. She's too young. We're not allowed. The French doesn't allow that. Da-da-dee-da. And I really was shaking, but I was brave. And I said, I did not interfere. I kept it quiet. Let me just listen. And he looked at me, Lieutenant Barnhill. He said, can you tell me your story, the reason happened? I said, sir, can you read the top? Marie El-Koubi, religion Jewish. That is the word that he didn't want to get me in. Really? He called him. He said, send the rest of the papers of Miss El-Kubi right now, and she is employed as of today. And you know how they pay you? Grade 1 and 8 steps. That's how you get the money from the military base. So I succeeded. I got the job. I worked the same day. And he gave me a letter, his own handwriting. He said, if you can type my handwriting, you are here. And the badge will take you, get the badge in your picture, and you start working. I typed his letter. I don't know if angels were on top of my shoulder. You couldn't read his letters like doctor's letters. So I stopped right there because I was successful. I worked. I brought food to the neighbor and to my family. I'm going to stop right there because it's too heavy for me to say. May I ask your comment about this?
I want to continue with the interview, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You said that you were in Israel for a year and then you came to the United States.
Excuse me?
You said you were in Israel for a year and then you came to the United States.
In Israel for, yeah, that's correct,
Okay.
for a couple of years or so.
Where in the United States?
I stayed.
Yeah.
My aunt.
Where?
In St. Louis, Missouri.
And you said you went to school.
Yes,
Where?
in St. Louis, Missouri.
Was
It's
it-
Columbia. It calls it University City of the St. Louis MO.
And what did you study?
Well, first of all, I found a job in St. Louis, okay? It was a job that was made by all the Jews from the Holocaust. That they were survivors from the Holocaust, and that office was specially for them. I was among them. So I was accepted. I passed the test, and I became a secretary there. In St. Louis MO, and the company I worked for is Herzberg Company, jewelry, custom jewelry, and I was also a model to make a little more money. And I was succeeded with work, and I worked there about a couple of years, and the problem started in Morocco, as I stated, with gunpoint. Then we had to leave. But I was very grateful to the base. They knew where I was going, but we couldn't say it. The only thing my Lieutenant Barney said, Marie, come, you're like my daughter, come and sit down. Where are you living? I didn't want to say Israel, because you better not say it. At the time, they were terrorists. He said, come closer. Are you going to, they called it Palestine there. Palestine? I said, I'm going to Israel. It's not Palestine, Israel. He gave me an envelope, and he gave me $1,000. He said, to start your life. He said, the compliment I got from him, he cried, he held me, and he said, I have never, ever witnessed a young lady so appropriate with her words and nothing but the truth. And here's a letter. I still have it today. And here's your diploma from the base. You can go anytime to United States. You don't have to be immigrant or any. So then my uncle got me to this office, found a job, secretary. I got it. It was nothing but Herzberg Company. They were all Jewish, most of all. And I graduated more and more, and I made a little more money. And all that little more money, where did it go? Esther went to Israel. I only saved $5 for me.
I have a few more questions
Yes,
before we
ma'am.
conclude. How do you think the wartime years, the war experience that you had in Casablanca, how do you think it impacted your life?
Truly, it taught me to be strong, number one. It taught me to be verbal of people does know nothing. And it taught me that never again. And it taught me, as a Jewish girl, to be powerful and strong. There is nobody there that can come kill me because of my identity. There will never be. Then I was very, very lucky. Met my late husband, who was very big shot in the United States at McDonnell Douglas, as I told you. And I'll show you his first satellite missile, the first man that did it. I have it in my office, you'll see it. And the Typhoon here, he's the one. It's right behind.
Oh, no.
I can't get up, I'm
No,
sorry.
don't get up.
Right behind me, there's a Typhoon thing. You see it? You see a Typhoon thing?
What was it?
It's
Is that a
it's
rocket?
from United States.
Is that
My
a
husband,
rocket?
it's a rocket, yeah. My husband was a designer and all that. It's his picture, and he's standing by it.
And his name?
His name is William Harris, Bill Harris. I didn't know him then. He was only 19. I was not even here. And then he was witness, and then he did the first satellite missile in the world. It says number one. Later I'll show it to you in my office. Okay, go ahead.
I feel a little awkward asking this question, but the movie Casablanca
Oh, yes.
is famous.
Yes,
It's a classic.
yes.
Is there anything in that film that's realistic?
Yes.
What?
Well, when I saw the movie maybe 100 times. When the player was Sophia Loren, if I remember. No, not Sophia Loren. Ingrid Bergman. See, I still remember. Ingrid Bergman was in it. And she was part also of the Nazi era with her husband. Remember? He had to get out, so you know the story if you saw the movie. That movie intrigued me very, very much. It gave me a lot of strength. It gave me a lot of education that no matter what happens, you have to stand up for yourself. There's nobody else. And it taught me that I took a lot of trips with my late husband and everything. I speak 4 languages. And it taught me a lot of things happened on my trips. That could be a whole book I could write, because I was a good American citizen. I grew up here. This is my country. But I have another country that I love and I adore and I give my life, is Israel. Because it saved us Jews from starvation. Okay? So I have respect for Israel. I will do anything for Israel. And I will do anything for America, 2 countries. Well, which I want all over the world with my late husband. So
You lived in an Arab country.
excuse me, Arab country.
You lived in an Arab
Oh,
country.
yes. Oh,
and
yeah.
you lived in Israel.
And I lived in Israel.
How has the war with Hamas impacted you?
Right now, the worst ever. It's not a war, it's a criminal massacre war to finish the Jews again. It's a copy of the Nazi as the worst way. As killing babies, opening stomach, pregnant women, taking her baby and cut his off right next to her, raping. So where is America now for that? I'm sorry, I'm very angry. I'm a hell of a good citizen, but you see things like that, and yet you still give billions of dollars to paras, I call it paras in Arabic, to Iran. For what? To give more armament and more things. But we're not stupid. They think Americans are stupid. We're not. We know everything. All that money should go to the children, the Palestinian children who are starving. There were 23,000 Palestinians working in Israel. They worked for my brother-in-law, who was a constructor. And they were exactly like the Israelis, paid like them, take care of them, and give them everything they needed. Until Hamas started. They changed the whole region. They just don't like us. You know why? We're too smart for them. And I gave one speech, I said, why can't the world know? I was angry in Israel. I gave a speech, I said, why you don't speak up? You helped 140 countries in Israel. Give them medicine, food, and they're not Jews. Okay? Give them everything they need. They change their water from salted water to sweet water, everything, and food. And here you are, you get stabbed right in the back. I think the new generation after us should know all these things and be aware of it. But the first question for me to you is the parents should speak. I have my own example, if you don't mind I saying it. I have one son who is a rabbi, and my husband who is MIT and Harvard educated man. I said, no TV when we have dinner, and no newspaper when we have dinner. 3 of us can talk. Speech, talk about everything. I might disagree, but you're still talking. I want my son to know what went on in my time. And I want my husband to know what was on at a very young age. Almost got killed, almost got raped, almost got kidnapped and everything. And I told them, and they were crying. My husband, late husband, said, my God, honey, I'm so sorry, what happened? I said, yes, but thanks to America, that helped also. But parents should speak to their children. It's not the school is bad. The school, the teacher cannot teach you everything. I said now, 30 or 40 kids in a school. It has to come both ways. And stop this hatred. And stop this anti-Semitism that's going on. Well, are we ready for another Holocaust? No, never. Not when Israel is still alive. Israel is powerful, is strong, intelligence. They made a lot of inventions to the world.
My last question. What message do you have for future viewers who will see this interview?
Could you please repeat it? I didn't hear it well.
What message do you have for future viewers, people who will watch this in the future?
Yeah. Oh, the message will be, after what we spoke to today, as I stated before, the message, if you have children or not children, or you mix marriage or whatever it is to, first of all, respect what you are. Number one, be kind. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, Druze, whatever it is. There is no reason to kill me because of my ID. There is no reason to kill a black man because he's black. There's no reason to kill a Japanese because he's Japanese or Pearl Harbor, what they did. That's a past. you teach much more of what's going to be united. We are a united world. And we have to approve it and make it happen instead of being absolutely miserable and criminal and want to ruin this beautiful country of USA and ruin other countries and ruin my beautiful Israel. No. That's what the world should, the new generation, as you stated, and know it even now. A lot of American people I encounter in this country, born here, don't even know who's the first president. They said Nixon. And here's a foreigner who knows whole damn story about the what you have here, the Congress, the president, and the Ten Commandments, everything. I can answer you everything you want because I'm interested to learn, and I'm interested in my son learn. That's why he became a very important young man. I raised him. My husband died very young. I was a very young widow too. But I said, my first thing to do is my son to learn what life is all about and to be good in it and to provide yourself, to help. I don't care what country. This is what I get from all my whole life. And I gave some classes myself. I went to synagogue and spoke. I talked about the Hamas war. I was 31 days underground in Israel, in the shelter.
When?
2014. It was Hamas war. I was there. I went for a wedding. I ended up in shelter 31 days. So when I came here, the synagogue invited me because I was there. And one, I'm sorry to speak up like that, one of the young ladies in the temple, she stood up and she said, well, the Israelis kills a lot of Palestinian children. I said, ma'am, the rabbi and the chazan asked me to come because I witnessed the whole war. I didn't want to leave. If I'm going to die, I'll be the best place to die. And I said, young lady, I did not ask your comment. When I finish, you have the right to answer me. You have the right to answer me. Absolutely. But you only hear. Arabs has one bad thing, which we grew up with them, they're the biggest liars in the world. If you killed 2 Palestinians, they'll say you killed 2,000. That's the difference between the Jews and Arabs and Muslims. They are #1 liars. They hate America. They said, when we finish with Israel, we're going to blow up New York. Okay? So in this country, and I have to speak myself the truth. I don't like to camouflage anything. This country, they are very illiterate. They're smart, but illiterate, because they don't want to know what's going on. You have to know what's going on in the world. That was my comment. And I want a better world, and learning from each other, helping each other. I don't care where you come from. And stop this bomb. You can't even walk in the street. I had one guy at Albertson shopping groceries came to me and said, what ID are you? Identity. I said, I'm Jewish. What is your problem? Oh, well, you don't look Jewish. I said, sir, you don't have no right to talk to me or ask me questions because I'm capable to put you in jail. And the president of Albertson, he came and said, they know me, that's where I shop. Miss Harris, what's going on? I said, this question, I say it's unacceptable to anybody to ask what? What, you gonna kill me because I'm Jewish? Well, I'm gonna kill you before because I have a cane. Nobody stops me. And that's what gave me the courage of all these episodes that happened in my life as a young child, till today, till tomorrow. Raise a young man, 17 years old, my son, 2 months in the university and his father dies. So I had to get a hold of me and work to be able not just help my family in Israel, but make sure my son has education. And that's what the Jews believe on. Education, education, education. And you educate your children first. Teachers that don't educate your kids about that happened, the Holocaust, they don't know nothing. Some of them say they never existed. Well, speak about it, talk about it, read. No. And that's one of the major problems that I have in the United States. Like I said, this is my home because I lived here very young and long time. But I wish we change our behavior toward other people and be grateful that we're here to talk and to say, it's a free country, to say what you think and what you want. You may be wrong, you apologize. There's a word, I'm sorry. But you don't take a gun and shoot the person because of what they are. I don't believe in that.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking with us today.
I hope I did okay.
Who are the people in this photo?
I can't see it. It's a blurry. Okay.
Can you tell us, please, who are these people?
These are my parents, and I believe they were just engaged on their parents, and I don't recall because I wasn't born yet.
Okay, and their first and last names, please?
Okay. My father's name is Chaim El-Kubi, E-L-K-O-U-B-Y. My mother was Mesoda, M-E-S-S-O-D-A, El-Kubi, E-L-K-O-U-B-Y. Not knowing each other, but it's the same name.
So they weren't related? They just...
Not at all.
That's funny. What country was this taken in?
Okay. This was Casablanca.
In?
Morocco.
Thank you. And this picture, who are these people?
These are my parents and their 40th anniversary. And I'm their daughter, and I'm the one that gave them that beautiful surprise.
Their first and last names, please?
My father, Chaim El-Kubi, and my mother, Mesoda El-Kubi, in Casablanca, Morocco.
Do you know what year this was?
It's hard for me to remember. They've been dead a long time ago. So I think my father was in this one. He must have been 57 years old on this picture. My mother is younger, 4 years younger than my dad, so she must be 53. It's all I recall, you know.
And this picture was taken, you said,
in Israel.
In Israel. Okay, thank you. And this picture, who are they?
Well, that's my mother and I, Marie. My name is Marie Harris on this one. And my mother, still the same name, Mesuda El-Kubi. And it was taken in Israel, going to my nephew's wedding in Israel.
Do you know when?
Let's see, this one in Israel, it's kind of hard to remember all of them. I believe I was 32 years old on this picture. My mother must be her 50s or something. It's hard for me to recall.
Okay, thank you. And who are these people?
There's two brothers, and Marie is in the middle, Marie Harris, it's me. My older brother on my left side is Albert
Is he wearing the black or the white?
The white. His name is Albert Elkouby, Elkouby, Albert, Albert, and he is my brother. And this picture was taken in Israel, a wedding in Israel.
And who's wearing
And the other young, that's Yossi Elkouby, who is the president of labor in Israel. And we were all in a wedding, a family wedding.
Any idea when this was taken?
Well, truly, I think it was, after my husband died or before. I can't tell you how, it's hard.
Okay.
Because they were getting married one after another, like a year or two later, so you can't recall.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
But these, yeah, they're married. My two brothers, I'm married. And I was, now I'm not. And I'll meet somebody nice sometime. But I had a great marriage, that's one thing. Start.
And who are these people?
Okay. The first picture on this side is me.
In the white dress?
In the white dress. I just came to America about 1 year, and then the middle one is my
What your name, please?
Marie Elkouby on this one. I was not married yet. My aunt, bless her soul, is my mother's sister, and her name is Rosette, Rosettee Ellman, Ellman. She was born in Casablanca, and during the Holocaust, the war, she was working with the Americans, helping them, underground. She gave them a farm where to stay, and so she was very privileged among the American military, and very proud of what she did. She was only 17 years old, and gorgeous woman. And that's her late husband also.
His name?
His name is Alfred Ellman.
Do you know when and where this was taken?
That was taken in St. Louis, Missouri, and I would say it was taken in 1963.
Okay. Thank
In
you.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Thank you.
Hey,
And what are we looking at now? Who are these people?
now this is my brother, whom we saw already, Albert Elkouby, born in Casablanca, and this picture was taken in Israel. The middle one, the lady, is his wife.
Her name?
Her name is Carmela Elkouby, and the third one is Marie Harris.
Do you know when this was taken?
This was taken, let's see, I would say it was taken in Israel, because it's always weddings, in Israel, and I would say in the late, about in the 70s, if I recall. It's very hard to remember exact that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
And this picture, please.
Okay, this picture was my late husband. I didn't even know him then. I was not in America. And his name is William Harris. And he's one of the developers that they call it a typhoon, I think. And he was one of the top executive engineer of designing other things, including the hydrogen bomb. So that was his field. And I met him when I came to the United States, quite a few years later, because he was older than me, 12 years older. And He was the most intelligent man. He was great for Israel. He helped a lot about the F-4s and F-13 for Israel. And he taught, every year we went to Israel, he was helping Bedek, which is like the Iron Dome, Perez, and all that, all those big shots there, military. He was there, met Moshe Dayan, all that. And all the inventions he did, he talked about them. And then all the classes, the engineering in Jerusalem, he used to go to their meeting and talk. And one of the engineers said, "Sir, yeah, we know." He said, "If you know, why am I here?" I remember, that's cute.
Was that taken in the United States?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And do you have any idea when it was taken?
No, I wasn't here.
So it was.
I never met him
You
then.
came in the 60s, 1960s.
No, no,
You came in
no.
1956.
I met him.
57.
We got married in 1966.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
So
Okay.
this is much way before. He was only 1920. In the back, if you want to turn, see what it says about the typhoon. It's upside down. You can. When you finish it, you can.
Okay.
So it's one of the things they invented. It's much more than that, many more.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell us about this picture?
Okay, this picture was taken in Israel. I'm coming from this side, okay? My sister and her, and the one she's dancing with is the husband of this next sister next to him.
Okay,
And her name is still Zahava El-Kubi. That was taken in Israel. You know, and then her husband is Yeshua. His name is Yeshua. What the heck was his name? Yeshua. Let's see, his mother. Oops, I slipped his last name is my favorite. But anyway, his wife is next to him with a striped dress.
Okay.
And the one who danced with her is my late husband, Harris William. And she, Smadar Kostika.
So.
And the guy next to her, it's her husband, is Kostika. It came back to me.
So the gentleman in the gray suit.
Yeah.
Is
the husband next to him with the striped dress.
Okay.
And the other one, I think she was divorced. Zahava is divorced. And then my husband is with the striped dress, the wife of Yeshua with the black suit.
Okay, thank you.
Got it?
Yes. And do you have any idea when this was taken?
That was in Israel, another party. I wasn't,
Okay. That's
some
okay.
party. There were a lot of weddings, big family. And I went to every one of them. Absolutely.
Thank you. And this picture.
Picture is the first lady here is my sister, Kostika. And the middle gentleman is her grandson. And me next to him. And it was during the Hamas war in 2014.
In Israel.
In Israel.
Thank you. Can you tell us about this photo, please?
This photo is my only son. He's a rabbi. His name is Maurice Harris. And he's riding a ketubah in a wedding. Somebody getting married. He was the rabbi that performed the marriage.
And the ketubah is the contract.
It's a contract. The ketubah, you know this. Yeah.
And do you know when or where this was taken?
I have no idea. I saw it in his house and I stole it. I loved it because I loved the way he's all put together.
Thank you for speaking with us, and this now concludes the interview.